Hi there, this lesson of the class is rather intense, however it is very important. We discuss how one can create their own components, this is, creating your own tag and making it fire events etc. We will create a new project. We change the name of the project and also change the title. We will run it, so that we ensure that everything is working fine. The project is running well, we have the usual nav bar, a drawer and buttons. What we intend to do, is to create a navbar component that will sit outside of the base layout. Let's open the base layout to see its design. We have an app bar, a drawer and the main app area. Let's save this layout as another as we want to use its components for the new component. We call the new layout navbar1, it will have the app bar in it, only. Let's remove the components we don't want on this layout, only to leave the app bar contents. This app bar will show a progress bar underneath it when we want. We are going to add a V-spacer and a button for now. We give the button a name, and also specify its label. Our design for the new component layout is finished, we just need to create the actual component that will use the layout. We create a new class module and give it a unique component name. A component has to have a unique tag name, for example, we have divs, inputs etc., we will name this component navbar. When we use this component, we will use the name navbar as our tag name. The layout to use for this component has already been created, it's called navbar1, let's load it. The next thing we need to do is to generate members, then we bind each component representation to the view component. The hamburger button has a click stop event, also our button will have an event. We need to bind each of these components to the view component we have defined. The variable name for the Vue component is home. The process of bind state ensures that the methods, the reactive properties for all the components are bound. If we don't bind the state, the click events and dynamic properties that are changed at runtime will not work. As this is not a route component, but a new tag, it will not have a path. Let's remove the B4J warnings by using ignore for these variables. When the hamburger button is clicked, it should toggle the drawer. Let's add that code. Remember, the drawer is in the base layout, and this is accessible in the PG index module. We get its name, and then fire toggle item on it. As the drawer is in the main page of the app, we use the application state, Vuetify, to execute the toggle. For now, when the button is clicked, let's show a toast. As this is a new tag, called navbar, we need to import it, so that our app knows we have a new component to use. Let's remove add route and use import instead. From the look of things, we are ready to use our component anywhere in our app. Let's add it first and then we are ready. We will use the newly created component for the app bar. Let's then remove the old one from the base layout. We are adding a custom tag. We will use the vlabel custom view and then give it the name of our new component. So the tag name for this element is navbar, based on the component we have created. The internals of this new tag, like the hamburger, the title and buttons were already created. There is no need to redo that here, it's self-contained. Now, let's do a cleanup of our old code. The progress loader is now on the app bar inside the component. Let's link it there. Just like add pages, let's create a new sub that will be for adding components. We define a variable for the B4J class module that has the component. On Add Components, we initialize this variable, so that it executes the needed code to create our new tag. Everything looks well. Let's run the application. I am going to show you what happens when we don't bind elements. Our app is showing a blank page. We activate the developer console. The error is related to the app drawer, with a reference that is not defined. This means we have not done a binding for the drawer. I see, I had accidentally deleted the reference to the app drawer and thus did not bind it too. We generate members for the drawer and then bind it. We have cleared the bug. Let's run again. Our navbar component works well. We see the hamburger, title and buttons. It's also firing the events we wanted.